Hey there, my friend. So today we have a special video for you that's a little different than our normal content. I mean, normally here at the Fit Father Project, we're always talking about the hardline health and fitness stuff, nutrition, exercise, accountability. But in today's video, we're gonna take a little bit of a bigger picture. And my content team asked me to talk about what are some foundational principles and strategies about how all of us guys can just change our lives for the better. And it's an interesting topic, right? Because I imagine you got involved with us here at the Fit Father Project because you wanted to live a better life, period. And health was one area where you were struggling and you wanted to improve, but it's all about overall life transformation. And as men, moving forward and becoming the greatest version of ourselves, and health happens to be such a huge pillar to unlock that kind of transformation. But the principles that work for health, we can actually extract those and look at how to improve our lives overall in all the areas with our relationships, our faith, our finances, all these other areas. We can certainly talk about that. So today I actually have 7 strategies for you here on my computer that we're going to cover. And these are things that I've learned that have been instrumental in my life in keeping my fitness on track while growing the Fit Father Project as a fast-growing, successful business. And I hope that you can take 1 to 2 strategies from this video and apply it into your own life. And, you know, comment back on this post and teach us some stuff, because I know there are so many successful guys with us at the FFP. And the thing is, this whole brotherhood, it's a rising tide brings up all ships. We're all rising together, but these are some strategies that really work for us. The first thing that is absolutely huge for changing your life for the better is setting short-term targets. There's a reason when you join the Fit Father Project that it's Fit Father 30X. We started with a 30-day program. It's because our brains have such an easier time managing a goal into the future that we can see that's not so far off. I mean, there's value to setting 10-year targets for yourself. Like, in 10 years, I'd like to be doing this. And that's great because it gives you like a really big picture to aim at. But if we're being realistic with ourselves, all the twists and turns that life throws, what we think we're gonna be in 10 years is dramatically different than when we end up with all the things that happen in the meantime. That's why short-term targets are absolutely critical. 30 days when it comes to weight loss is great. But what I really suggest for overall life transformation, what I've been doing is dividing up my years and thinking of them as 4 90-day years. So I don't think that I have 1 year. I don't have 2018 when I'm shooting this. I have 4 years inside 2018, 4 90-day sprints. And that gives me the ability to really think about, okay, I just have to manage the next 3 months. I still have big picture targets of what I want to do with my life and with the business, but it's so much more manageable to work on the next 3 months. It gets you out of the clouds and into the world of action. And I think that's absolutely essential. So we do this with our Fit Father Project programs. It's baked in. Fit Father 30X is 30 days because we're building the momentum. Phase 2 is 2 months. Phase 3 is 3 months. So we're building up, but these are still short-term targets that are very manageable. So I think it's an incredibly valuable thing that anybody out there can take to start taking better charge over their life and making life a little more manageable by focusing on these 90-day sprints. The next thing that I don't know too many guys that do this, but I think is very important, is to write out your guiding principles, like your core values, your true guiding principles, and to put them on paper. I think if you were to ask somebody in your life, maybe it's your kids or a business partner or your spouse, like, what are your guiding principles? Like, very few people, I'd say maybe 3 or 4 out of 100 would be able to just rattle off exactly what they stand for. And I think it's important because we have these internal senses of what drives us, what our core values are, but unless we write them down and we get very clear and concrete, they're not really guiding us from a conscious level. And it's really nice to be able to say, these are the 5 things I stand for. And then when you're conscious about those core values, it then informs your actions. So for me, I have a core value of freedom with how I manage my time and my schedule. And because I know it's a core value for me, it makes it so easy for me to say no to things that aren't in alignment with that core value. And if we do not have these things written and like externalized, it's hard to make those decisions, and we can get taken off track by things that look appealing maybe, that we think we should be doing, but don't really align with our deep core values. So write those down. Guiding principles and core values. On the other side of the coin, I think it's equally valuable to write down a list of our limiting beliefs and our weaknesses. all of us were far from perfect. We have tons of weaknesses. And when it comes to our weaknesses, it's good to write those down and know them. I think it was Socrates that says, know thyself. And that means both your strengths and your weaknesses and your tendencies and predispositions. And by just writing those down and getting clear on what you're not good at, what you don't like, we'll start there. On the weakness front, you know that you can architect a life that plays to your strengths. And I think some of the really great research shows the old school thought was you identify your weaknesses and you strengthen those. And what some of the new behavioral and positive psychology research is showing, screw that. Know your weaknesses and build a life around your strengths and really focus on that. It's not to say you're not going to be a well-rounded individual. You will, but focus and double down on the things that you are incredibly strong at. For me, I feel called after I graduated medical school to be a teacher, to be an instructor, not to be in an office, working for 12 hours a day, swabbing throats and treating the flu. That's something that some people are really called to, and that's their strength. This is my strength with teaching, communicating some of these principles and building these programs that thousands of guys can participate in. And I know that, so I double down on that. So what are your weaknesses? And then on the flip side of that, what are some of your limiting beliefs? What do you believe about yourself that you know is keeping you playing small? We all have these, and the more I'm maturing through my life, which, I have a fractional life experience of many of you probably watching this, is that life and growth is a series of it's like shedding layers of an onion. It's not as much about picking up new things as it is releasing baggage. And identifying those limiting beliefs that keep us small, we can then begin to really examine them, look at them. Are they truly true? And how can we break them down and find evidence for the contrary and release some of the stuff that's holding us back? Sometimes getting to our next level is not a new tip, strategy, or tactic. It's just releasing the 50 pounds we're holding on our ankles that's keeping us down. So until we write those things down, we don't really know. So I think that's really, really valuable. It's certainly been in my life. The next thing is to make an issues list. What is broken in your life right now? Big and small. What is not working? Let's make a whole list. And this is different than limiting beliefs. Now we're talking about actual things. Are your taxes not done? Are your kids not doing X, Y, Z? Is your job not paying you enough? Is your car not running the way? All the things. And I want to give a bunch of different examples because we want to find all the things that cause you pain and angst in your life, because we all have them. And the key thing is a lot of us never end up closing those loops. We just leave these things creating all this buzz and frenetic energy about our lives because we never close the loops and check them off the list. Make your issues list and knock it out. This is something that's been huge for our Fit Father Project company as like a culture, is we implemented like a company-wide issues list where everyone's writing issues on a full community list that we can all see, and we're addressing them, knocking them out so these issues don't linger. Unless we're intentional about doing this and actually writing down issues lists and knocking it out, what happens is life gets in the way. It gets too busy and the issues never get resolved, and we carry this noise and that weight with us for so long. So make an issues list and knock it out. And this can be in all areas of your life, personal, professional, financial. Just think about that. And I want to pause for a second because I do have 3 more things to cover. But with all these strategies, you could watch this video and gain absolutely nothing from it if you don't take the challenge and maybe implement 1 or 2 things and actually do the work. I think this is maybe the overarching message of changing lives, period. It takes action. And certainly on the Fit Father Project program, you took action and you saw results. And life in general is no different, right? We just worked on one specific domain. So consider taking action on some of these strategies. They are powerful, and I'm telling you that from a place of deep personal experience, as well as having helped thousands of guys through this Fit Father program with some of these very principles that we're teaching. So next thing to change your life is to set your immediate world in order. I love studying growing up the Navy SEALs. And they have this concept of living in your 3-foot world. And that's like the 3 feet like right in front of you. And that's what you manage. And that's what is directly controllable. And one huge thing about changing our lives when we have these lofty goals of career reinvention, relationship reinvention, physical reinvention, is it can be kind of abstract and big picture. But what can we do in the immediate present environment to set our world in better order? And this comes down to some organization stuff. Can we actually clean up our shit? Can we clean up our desktops? Can we clean up our rooms? Can we set ourselves in order in our physical space to create a situation where we're in a physical environment that's going to give us the mental freedom to achieve and go after these loftier goals without as much noise. What can we set in order? And it's something really to think about. You might fall on all ends of the spectrum of like super organized or super disorganized, but look at what can we immediately set in order to free up your bandwidth so that you can do more. And I think the issues list is a little bit part of that. There's certain things on the issues list that'll be environmental things that we can set in order immediately. The next thing is to get a badass morning routine. There are so many things that we think we should do, whether it's prayer, meditation, whether that is gratitude practice and journaling, which we'll talk about in a little bit, whether that's moving our bodies and exercising, drinking more water. If we leave these things to chance and they're outside of the context of a structured routine or ritual, they don't get done. Just life's too busy for that. So one of the biggest things is to get a rock solid morning routine that takes 30 minutes, that gets some of these key things you know are great for you, and it gets them done before you leave the door. And I want to give a huge props and hat off to a company that I respect a ton called Wake Up Warrior. There's a guy, Garrett J. White, who runs this business. It's for married businessmen who want to achieve the highest level of success in life. And he teaches a concept called the Core Four. And it's kind of part of the game. Every day you hit your Core Four. And the Core Four is your morning routine in the categories of body, being, balance, and business. Really catchy stuff, and it's why Garrett's business is crushing it and he's amazing. With body, every morning, do something for your body. So as a Fit Follower for Life, if you're a Fit Follower for Life member, we just released that Total Body Tune-Up program. That's available for all Fit Follower for Life members. If you want access to that, join Fit Follower for Life. In Total Body Tune-Up, we cover a morning body movement ritual to get your energy level skyrocketed, your mind super clear, and your body feeling loose and fluid. So body, do something every day in the morning as a part of your morning routine, even if it's 1 to 2 minutes. Just doing something for your body. For your being is meditation or prayer or whatever spiritual practice you have. Doing that for at least 5 minutes, getting it in before the day becomes reactive and stressed, doing your being ritual. Balance, that's your significant other or your key relationships. Whether it's your spouse, your girlfriend, or a family member, reaching out to someone and expressing love actively every day and showing massive appreciation. If you have a primary partner in your life, if you're married or you have a girlfriend, that is an amazing time to invest proactively every morning, where you send the text or you give them a big kiss, you look them in the eyes, tell them how much you love them. That will transform your relationship and ultimately your life for the better. And finally, business is the last one, which is what can you do to further your aims with your goals as it relates to your business. So if you run a business, cool. If you want to run a business, cool. Or if you're working in a company that you love, what can you do to sharpen the saw and get better at your skills for 5 minutes, whether it's you're reading a book related to something. So what my routine looks like in Body, Being, Balance, Business: get up, move my body, drink the water, do that Total Body Tune-Up routine. For being, meditate and pray for 10 minutes. For balance, make sure I tell Paige how much I love her. And for business, read a book for at least 5 minutes. It often runs up to 10 minutes. So this is a simple morning routine. When you have the structure, okay, body, being, balance, business, got to get these things done, it can really transform your life. And when it comes to habits like this and rituals, small levers swing big doors. So the consistency of that kind of habit really leads to massive change. Doing this once is not going to change your life. Doing it for a year certainly will. Now, the last thing that will change your life is to celebrate your success more. And I am preaching to myself here, and I'm very guilty of this, is not taking the time to smell the roses and to celebrate the successes and the milestones along the way. Oftentimes, if we're very achievement-oriented type A people and we're charging forward all the time, it's so easy to always be chasing the horizon and not looking back at, how far we've come. The thing about horizons is, as far as you run, the horizon keeps on moving. So if you're not careful, you're never going to look at and really celebrate how far you've come in the journey. So setting up opportunities to celebrate your success and express the gratitude for the gifts and abundance that you already have in your life, the gifts God has given you, and that can be part of your prayer and spiritual practice. One thing that I love, because we've talked about morning rituals, the Body, Being, Balance, Business, is to have an evening ritual of a little bit of 5 minutes of journaling. Journal some things you're grateful for of the day and some successes for the day, no matter how small. Just taking the 5 minutes to do that trains your brain to feel so much more grateful. And it's amazing because as people who want to, live better lives and transform and get to levels of deeper enjoyment and fulfillment, it's not always that we change the things in our lives, like the content. It's often that we just change how we're relating to the life we already have. And so that's an interesting concept, right? So we can definitely work on improving our health and changing the content of what our health looks like, but we can also change the context at which we're looking at our health. And that's what the kind of stuff for this gratitude and success journaling really does. It helps rewire how we're relating to the life we already love. So those are some ideas, 7 things we covered there. I hope that you found this valuable and that it provides some big picture perspective. We've done such an intentional job of baking this stuff into the Fit Father programs. That's why we have weight check-ins. That's why we celebrate your wins with those check-ins. That's why we give you habits and rituals to do this stuff. That's why we make everything super turnkey. That's why you do the motivation mission statement stuff to get very clear on where your weaknesses are and what you're willing to give up to chase the program. This stuff's built into Fit Father 30X and it works. You've seen it in your own life. So how can we take those principles and apply it to other areas? Hope you found this valuable. I'm really grateful to be producing this kind of content for you. And if you like this and you want more of this stuff, let us know, because as a member of our Fit Father Project Brotherhood, a paying program member, we value you and your input so much, and we want to give you the tools to succeed as a fit father with your health and also in your life in general. So let us know how we can serve you best. Comment below on the blog post. Let us know. Hit reply to the emails. If you found this valuable, we'd love to hear from you. So I hope you're doing great. What I'd also want to suggest is if you're on Fit Father 30X and you haven't moved on to phase 2 or phase 3, or if you want to get some of these new programs we're releasing, like the Total Body Tune-Up program that I've mentioned that we just released this quarter, then I want you to invite you to join Fit Father for Life. Not only are we giving you all the health programs, the full 12-month curriculum, but you're getting more content like this, more deep dive access into the kind of teaching and training that will improve your life in general, far beyond just your fat loss and your muscle stats. But we got you covered on there too. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Get back to us, let us know what you think, and I look forward to seeing you in our upcoming videos, my friend.